Let's talk about sharing Google Documents among people. There may be times when you create a document and you want someone to see it. Or maybe you want them to help edit it. Maybe you want to create it together. In our scenario of a lesson plan, you might have other educators that might be interested in this lesson, or maybe you've decided to create a unified lesson among several subjects or several teachers. And you could share a folder or a document or a mix and match of both with just about anyone you want who has a Google account. Let's start with sharing folders. On the screen, you see the Social Studies folder we've been using so far through this lesson. And you also see underneath it that I have removed the Disunion Lesson Original, that original document I showed you when I outlined the course. I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. So let's share this folder first. When you share a folder, the easiest way to do it is to click the checkbox to the left of the folder, and in these new tabs that come up, select the person with the plus symbol. You see a little pop-up that helps you that says share. And now you type in the Google address for whoever you want to share it with. You might also notice that by default, this folder can only be accessed by me. Only the people on this list, and right now I'm the only person on this list. I can change that too. I could say anyone that I give the link to can access this folder. Anyone on the web can find it. Now the difference here, it's a very important difference. Public on the web means someone could go to Google, do a Google search, and possibly find this information. Anyone with the link means they either have to type in the whole gigantically long address or get it from you or someone, but they can't go to Google and just do a random search. You also have people at, can find, and access. Basically what this says is if you're in a Google Apps, your school or your company has a Google Apps domain, anyone within that school or company can find the document by searching for it. Or people in my domain, my school, my organization, can open it if they have the link. Or just the individuals, which is what I have. I will cancel that. Let's add an individual. I'm going to add James Kirk to my folder. And I'm going to say by default, James Kirk can edit what's inside of this folder. Also, I'm going to notify Jim by email. I'm going to spell it right. And now I can share and save. And I get this warning. This warning simply says, hey, you're in a Google Apps domain. You're in an organization or a school that uses Google Apps. And the person you're sharing with is not a part of that organization. They're not a part of that school. Are you positive you want to let them in? Do you want to let them access something from within our school? This is similar to inviting someone to your workplace or inviting someone to the school. They might not be a part of the school, but sometimes you have people join in. But you need to make sure that's okay. You don't just bring in any Joe Schmo. If this is a problem for your organization or your school, your Google Apps administrator probably will have blocked this. I'm going to click yes. And now James Kirk has access to that folder. I'm going to click done. We're going to go to James's view in just a moment. However, here's my question for you. There are two ways I can tell from this screen that Social Studies has been shared. Do you see them? You should see two things. You should see the word shared to the right of the title, and on the folder icon, it's no longer solid. There's a little cutout of a person. This tells you this folder has been shared. Here's another question. If I move Disunion Lesson Original into the Social Studies folder, will James Kirk have access to that file? The answer is yes. When I move Disunion Original into Social Studies, now open Social Studies, there's my original. Let's go into the share for the file. And there's James Kirk. When I add someone to a folder, by default, that person can access everything in that folder, no matter when you add the file. Every file in here will allow James Kirk to edit. Now let's take this a step further. Let's say it's in here, but I don't want James to see it. I don't want to influence James too much right now, so I want to hide my original from him. If I select the document, I click Share, I can remove James from this file, click Save, and click Done. He's no longer on this file. You see everything inside of the folder. James will see everything else in the folder, but he will have no idea that this is there. This is simply a way to help you stay organized without having to say, okay, he has the folder, but I don't want him to see the file, so I have to put the file somewhere else. Now, where did I put that file? You don't have to worry about that. He simply isn't going to see it. Let's take a look at Jim's Google Drive. Here's the Google Drive for James Kirk. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, I shared the folder with him, but it's not there. It is there. It simply isn't in the My Drive area. You created the folder. You shared it with James. So James has two options. Option 1 is to look at everything through Shared with Me. He can't move things around, but he can edit documents. Or he can move that folder you shared with him into his My Drive area. But right now it's only under Shared with Me. There's the Social Studies folder. If I click on the Social Studies folder, there are all of those files, but if you look through, you will not find the original document that we said we want in the folder. We just don't want James to see it. But he can access everything else. And he can even add to the document. That is how sharing works in Google Drive.